Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the Ingrove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I have a very special video for you today, something I've been working on for quite a while and something I've never done before. I am going to shoot out the new Tracy Chapman Rhino reissue of her self-titled album against an original white label promo of the album. Now, what makes this video different than anything I've ever done before, because I do record shootouts all the time, is I'm actually going to include sound in this particular shootout. I'll talk about the album ahead of time, but at the end, I've actually licensed Fast Car from Rhino, and I'm going to include it at the end of the video. So you're going to be able to hear what I'm talking about. Now, it's a little bit different than a lot of people and how they upload music to YouTube. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to record the room that I'm listening to this in. Because a lot of times, you'll do a direct out record from your turntable, but you're losing the phono stage, the sound of the phono stage, the sound of the preamp, the sound of the speakers, the sound of the room. I wanted you guys to be able to hear what I'm hearing. So I've gotten myself a really high quality stereo microphone, and I've recorded the room itself, the music playing through the speakers in the room itself. I don't know how this particular type of video is going to do. I don't know if you guys care to even listen to something like this, but I think it's kind of cool because you're going to hear me not only talk about this, but you're going to see me play it in my hi-fi room and be able to make kind of a determination on what you guys think. Now, it is slightly different compared to what I'm hearing. Granted, I'm hearing it in the room with these big, massive Wilson speakers, and you guys are hearing it somewhere else on another system. But it'll give you guys a sense of what I'm hearing and what I'm talking about in this video. Okay, let's talk about the sound quality and the differences between the two. Now, the original was actually mastered by Robert Ludwig, and it was done all digitally. It was digitally mixed, it was digitally recorded and mastered by Bob Ludwig. Now, what Bob did back in the day with this record, and not only this record, but a lot of records, is he actually copied it to a reel-to-reel analog tape. Maybe as a safety measure. I'm not 100% sure. We'd have to ask him on that. He doesn't really do interviews anymore, so we're just gonna assume it was as a safety measure. Okay, so that is how the original was created. I don't know if it was mastered back in the 80s from a digital file or it was mastered from that analog tape. But either way, it was a digitally recorded and mixed album, and there now exists an analog tape. That analog tape is what Bernie Grundman used to master the new pressing of it. Now, when I compare the two of these, there are pluses and minuses with both of them. There is on the original a bit of harshness and top end that's possible due to the fact that it's a DMM cutting. A DMM cutting is essentially, rather than cutting directly to a lacquer, you're cutting to a copper plate. Sometimes that gives you a harsher, more, maybe it's not harsh, maybe it's just a hyper detail at the top end, which comes off as a harshness. But either way, I think it is apparent on the DMM cutting. Whereas the new Bernie Grundman cutting, done from that analog tape in the traditional sense, nobody really, in the United States, none of your audiophile mastering engineers are doing DMM cuttings. They're doing traditional lacquer cuttings. And that's what Bernie Grundman did here. A traditional lacquer cutting. But what's nice about this is you don't have that over embellished top end, that hyper detailed top end that I think is actually somewhat difficult to listen to. I think the new version of this record has a better listenability to it. It flows better. The top end is not as fatiguing. And then also there's a better mid-range tonality. Her voice comes across better, I think, on the new reissue. And the bottom end is filled out a little bit more. Now, this is situational from track to track. Some tracks, unfortunately, the track I was able to get the license to, Fast Car, is a little bit more even-keeled from disc to disc. There are other tracks, like talking about a Revolution and first track on side 2, which is Mountains, Oh Things, where I think it's more noticeable. So it's more on a track-by-track basis, but there's a lot of similarities between the two of these. Now, there is one issue that a few people have complained about, but I think most of you will actually never even notice. There is some sort of tape print-through or pre-echo that is on this record. Print-through comes from when you take a reel-to-reel tape and you store it tightly wound, and the magnetic tape particles kind of bleed into the magnetic strip next to it, to where it actually almost creates a echo effect. It's called tape print through. Or it could be an echo effect that I'm hearing on this album from where the groove spacing is compacted enough to where you're actually hearing the groove wall next to the groove that the needle is in. That makes sense. There's a little bit of that on the new reissue that you don't hear on the original. I don't think it's really that much of a hindrance. I think most of you probably never even noticed it if you're watching this video. Now, maybe you did notice it. Certain people are sensitive to, everybody's sensitivity to certain anomalies in recorded music, is a little different. So maybe you've noticed it, maybe you haven't. Let me know below if you have or you haven't. I'm kind of curious. But it is there. It, to me, doesn't detract from this record. And if you're listening to it, it almost kind of sounds like a studio effect, and sometimes to where there's just a little reverb added to the mix. It's really only apparent on kind of the, a cappella tracks. That's where I noticed it the most. You don't really hear it on the more upbeat Popman tunes. It's kind of buried by the music, but it is there. It's not there on the original. But I think as a whole, my preference is the reissue. It's significantly cheaper than this. Now, this is a more exaggerated price because this is a white label promo. It's pressed on Qui-X vinyl, but a standard copy like I have over my shoulder is still gonna run you probably $75, $80 for a clean copy. I don't know if it's worth, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. I think overall, the new pressing is just a little bit better. Both are actually quite great. And to be honest, if you have an original, do you rush out and get the new one, and vice versa? If you have the new version, do you run out and get the original? Probably not. Maybe you're a Tracy Chapman super fan and you got to have it all, and then, okay, you already had it, so what's it matter? But these are really, really close. But I do give the edge to the new Bernie Grundman cut because it fixes a couple of things that I've always had issues with on this record, and that's really just the overall harshness of the original vinyl cut. Okay? But that could be different, system dependent as well. Your system might not exacerbate that top end like maybe mine does. Although I have a pretty, I've got a nice tube system that I think in general kind of mellows some of the harshness out. So maybe some systems might even embellish that top end a little bit more. But as a whole, I would go with the reissue. It's actually quite good and it's reasonably priced. It's $25. There's not a lot of $25 records anymore, okay? $25 records are becoming few and far between, and especially really well done records. Now, from what I'm hearing, Tracy actually had a big hand in the manufacturing of this record. It wasn't something that the label just did and said, you know what, we're going to reissue it, and then the artist had no input, which is very common. That's how most records are made nowadays. They're made by the label, and the artists have almost no input on it. It's more of the, are you going to pay me for that input? That I don't believe was the case with this. It seems like she had a very hands-on approach, and I think it came out really, really well. Going to that analog tape, I think, again, take out some of the harshness. Going to one of the top mastering engineers in the world, Bernie Grundman. All of these things made for a very solid sounding reissue. Now listen to the video. I'm gonna do the original first, and then I'll do the reissue second. Tell me if you guys can spot the differences, and tell me also maybe how you guys listen to this. This might be something that I continue in the future because there are opportunities to license other music. If you guys find this as a benefit, being able to listen to 2 separate tracks in my living room, let me know because it might be something I do in the future. All right, guys, until next time.
You get a fast car. I want to get to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. from life than he could give. I said somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live or die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk. City lights day out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. Now work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. We'll move out of the shelter, buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. I got a job that pays all our bills. Instead of drinking late at the bar, see more your friends than you do your kids. I'd always hope for better. Thought maybe together you and me find it. I got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. Take your fast car and keep on driving. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so you can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live or die this way. You got a fast car. I want to get to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. He deal with the bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. My mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said somebody's got to take fast enough so we can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car, speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights day out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder, and I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car, we go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. Now work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. We'll move out of the shelter, buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car, speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights day out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder, and I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car, I got a job that pays all our bills. Instead of drinking late at the bar, some more your friends than you do your kids. I'd always hope for better, but maybe together you and me find you that got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. So take your fast car and keep on driving. So I remember when we were driving in your car, speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights day out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder, and I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car, is it fast enough so you can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or